oh, you're just land guys. We're like, no, we're real estate agents.
No, we do it.
One of the wildest things that I can remember is a guy shooting semi-pro years ago at an ASA event. He was winning some events and like shooting scores better than we were shooting in the pro class. So it was kind of suspicious.
So then the next day I go up there. All I seen is this bucket came all the way around and his horns touched in the center. Oh, this is that giant Tucker was talking about the morning before.
I didn't know what deer was in there, but I'd seen a lot of good sign and stuff. So
Yeah.
I was probably halfway asleep and something caught my eye and I looked and there were 3 deers, 2 bucks and a doe.
And there's nothing wrong with being an agent that like doing land. There's a lot of them that don't.
Right.
But we just have a group of guys that we like doing land.
We enjoy it.
It's who we are. Welcome to the Round Here podcast, presented by the Heritage Group Real Estate Company. Whether you're driving a back road, working cattle, baling hay on a hot summer day, or cooking breakfast in the duck blind, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us as a few good old boys from around here sit down with folks that live just right down the road to share their stories, their memories, and what makes this place home. This is the Round Here podcast. Well, what's going on, guys? Sitting across from me today is Mr. Chris Hacker and Brandon Inge.
What's up, buddy?
How's
What
it
y'all
going?
got going? Anything exciting in the real estate world?
Not to speak of. I mean, been on some listing appointments. Do have a big listing coming up on Chaffee Crossing.
Yeah.
Here in the next couple of weeks. House
You
coming.
and both on that.
Yeah, we got a house coming up here at the end of the month. So we got some good things going.
Cool. Brandon, you got anything?
I've got a couple listings in Alma I'm looking at. Maybe another one coming up and got a buyer in Van Buren, one in Alma. Market's pretty tough right now for buyers, but
Yeah, for sure. No, me and Chris are seeing that too. I think every truck drive we have, we talk about it.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Me and Chris has got, well, you got one tomorrow. I
Yeah, I've
closed
got-
one at the first of this week.
Got a closing tomorrow. Got another one on schedule for next week. We got a few under contract.
Yeah.
So
We got-
we're doing good.
that's good.
Yeah, we got Bonnerdale at the end of the month, last day of the month.
Yeah, let's talk about how quick that thing went on the market.
Yeah,
I mean,
24
went under
hours.
contract.
We had 3 offers.
That's awesome.
That was wild.
Yeah.
That was super cool. I wish every listing was like that. You put it up.
That's the thing, man. And right now it's all about the price point. If you
It
hit that
is.
price point, there's buyers for it,
Yeah.
But everybody's really kind of looking for a bargain right now, I feel like. And real estate's still moving, but you got to hit that price point,
I think that's probably the most important factor. Like what we've seen this year so far, it is the price.
Yeah,
If
it
you're
is.
overpriced, even just $2,000, like it seems like that listing can be slow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that sellers are going to have to realize at some point that we can't just do the whole throw out a number, see what happens, and if nobody likes it, we just knock 30,000
We'll reduce
off
it if
of
we have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, because I've got one right now. We keep reducing it, and it just for whatever reason it got showings actually at the higher price. But I don't know why, but the market just hasn't been happy with it, and it should have sold.
I think it sets on the
30
market
days ago.
so long too. If you overprice one, that even price reductions don't really just catch the consumer's eye.
That's true. And at some point, because I think consumers are so used to a market that was fast,
Yeah.
you get to the point where something's been sitting on the market a while, people start thinking something's wrong with it.
Yep.
Maybe they had a bad inspection, or maybe everybody that's looked at this house has noticed something they didn't like.
Yeah.
And so it does kind of get moved to the bottom of the stack. But that price point is just, when you hit the market with the right price, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of cracks me up. If your listing's been on there for like more than 100 days, people just like randomly text you, what's wrong with it or what's going on.
Right.
I've
No
had
one's
that.
bought it. That's what's
Right.
wrong with it. No one's
I've had
bought it.
people, what's wrong with this property?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
You're like, nothing. It just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been sitting.
And especially some of the unique properties that, it's going to take a certain buyer. It's going to take a specific person that puts their value in the land or the way it's laid out or,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. The subdivision houses are a little bit easier. You hit the price point, they're going to sell.
Yeah. And you got 7 comps in that neighborhood that sold
Yes.
in the last
Right.
6 months. They're just like it.
Yeah.
That's what we run into in rural property. Sometimes there's not another comp on the market.
Right.
It's challenging depending on what the property has on it for homes, structures, food plots, tower blinds, anything like that can add, value to that property. sometimes it's hard to find something that is similar.
Sure.
Right.
Well, like our Winslow listing, we just listed one at the first of June, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going on 30 days, but it 65 acres on the top of Mount Gaylor. It's this just beautiful home that was built by an architect. I mean, it's a jam up place.
Built in the
But
1920s.
yeah. How do you comp that?
As a
I mean,
cottage.
You don't. I saw your reel on Instagram on that. That's a very unique property. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not going to comp that. That's just, it is what it is. And
Let the market kind of speak to you on that.
you will, and
Yeah.
you'll find the buyer
we
that
had a
falls in
showing.
love with it.
We had a
you
showing
know?
the first weekend.
Yeah.
1.2 million. But yeah, well, we've got that one, and then we do have the Odom Ranch over in Cedarville. We just got it under contract. It closes August 15th. Right?
Yeah.
56 acres and a big old house.
Yeah, about a
Big old shop.
2,400 square foot house, big shop.
I love that place.
Probably one of the more secluded places there in Cedarville. Once you get back there,
I would say
you can see a long ways.
it's got to be one of the most unique that I've ever shown, because in the living room and in the bedroom is two fireplaces, and then the bathroom's also wrapped in it. It was rocks from like his trip. So like if he'd go to Utah, he would buy rocks there, like their creek rock or their whatever, or even just pick them up, and then he'd bring them back and then had that built into the house.
That's
So,
cool.
I mean, what else house has that unique
well,
feature?
you can light the fireplace and never get out of bed.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
an awesome feature.
That's sick.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah, I like that place. I'm glad.
cool.
Glad we finally got it under contract. That's one of those that's unique. You had it. You had it
listed for a while,
2 years, and then kind of off and on.
Yeah.
And then we actually got moved over to the Heritage Group, got it back on, and bam, it took
Under
off
contract.
Yeah.
under contract in a few weeks. Well, let's get into, I guess, knowing each other.
Yeah.
So our listeners, unfortunately, I know you better than I probably should.
That,
Good
goes,
and bad,
that
right?
goes both ways.
Yeah.
But Chris is a professional archer, and I'm gonna let him talk about himself a little bit. But Chris, tell us about your professional archery, your real estate, your day-to-day life, everything about you.
Yeah. So, I started archery whenever I guess I was 14 competing. I can remember getting my first bow.
People that don't know, him 14, that was like 62 years ago.
Not that old, but it's been a while. So I've got a picture my parents had. I think I was 4, and I had a little bear compound bow. So I guess that was actually my start into archery.
That's cool.
When I was a little kid, and started bow hunting with my dad when I was 11. Hunting Fort Chaffee, and it's kind of funny. Like we would hunt, and I'd hunt right there by him. He'd be in a tree stand, but I'd be on the ground over there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got started into archery. And I started competing when I was 14. I went to a local archery shop there in Van Buren. It was Turkey Creek Outfitters. It closed down, I think, in 2000. But that's what got me into it. They had an indoor range. I got to competing there, met a lot of different people, and that kind of introduced me into 3D archery. And then I turned professional in 2005. That was my first year as a pro. So I've been professional a little over 20 years. Archery was kind of my life for a long time. I mean, I kind of built my career around it. Worked at Jayco Outdoors for right at 20 years, kind of off and on, and running their archery department, hunting departments over there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the story of what's got me into it.
Yeah. So you spent bulk of your time at Jayco running that place. You was a manager there.
Manager there.
That's really how you've made all your contacts as far as real estate.
Made a lot of
too.
contacts
Yeah.
there through real estate. I mean, that's how
cool, man.
A lot of my listings when I first got going came from people that I had met over the years at Jayco.
Yeah.
Working on their bows, building relationships.
I knew you've told me before how like your archery career's kind of changed the older you've gotten. What was 18-year-old Chris's archery schedule look like compared to this year? How many events do you have scheduled this year? How many events did you do back when you was in your or whenever your
I
heyday
would say
was?
my peak, traveling and competing, I would shoot around 17 events a year,
crazy.
National events.
Yeah.
And now my first year competing locally, like at 14,
Yeah.
my poor dad, we hit 42 local tournaments that year from January to August. So
That's awesome.
every weekend I had
Every
him out
weekend.
shooting a couple of tournaments, all
sweet.
over eastern Oklahoma and Arkansas.
Yeah.
The national level, 17 events, that's a lot. You're looking at 2 a month, sometimes 3 a month from January, into August.
Yeah.
So you're on the road a bunch, gone from your family.
Yeah, those national events, you're traveling, Illinois?
One weekend I may be in Vegas, the next weekend I'd be in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That's
That's not just like driving to Little Rock and back.
it's a lot of travel, a lot of airports, a lot of time from your family. that's what a lot of people don't realize the sacrifice that you make when you want to try to pursue being a pro archer and travel like that, because you're giving up a lot of family time, a lot of time away from home. And chasing a dream. I mean, that was a dream of mine once I got into archery as a teenager. One day I want to be a pro archer. And fortunate enough, to achieve that dream.
Yeah, and a lot of people probably listening, and a lot of people just in the general public think like, oh, he's running around shooting his bow. But I mean, it's a legit living. I mean,
it is.
You can. Well, how many sponsors did you have at one point? I mean, you probably had.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere from 10 to 15 different sponsors. And it's various levels. Some of them, just travel money. Some of them just give you equipment. Some of them will give you one check a year, and you can run that, pay your expenses to travel. At some point, though, you do get to a point in your career that can be a supplemental income for you, and just like having a regular job. I mean, there's some guys out there that made a killing doing it. I made a good living for a few years there. It's gotten tougher the last couple of years. I don't know if it's the economy or just the change with influencers versus pro shooters, but some of the funding has been cut back for a lot of people.
Yeah. But at one time, I mean, Hoyt was paying you a check.
Oh, yeah.
Your arrow, what was your arrow company?
Yeah, Easton Archery, all those sponsors were paid sponsors.
Yeah.
And several of them still are. But, like you'd mentioned earlier about getting older and how your career kind of changes, this year I'm shooting 6 events.
Yeah.
I've cut back, just life changes and kids get
older. What
older.
are those 6 events? Because you've already done several of them.
Yeah, I'm just shooting the ASA circuit, Archery Shooters Association. And, we start that. The first one's in Foley, and then we run kind of 6 tournaments throughout the year.
Because you have one coming up, right?
Yeah, we got the ASA Classic. It's the end event for the year. Kind of the grand finale.
Where's it at?
It's in Coleman, Alabama.
You drive to most of them, don't you?
I drive to all the ASA events.
Yeah.
When I was shooting the IBO events, they were all out on the East Coast. Man, that's a lot of drive time. I drove several of them, 16, 18-hour trips.
Yeah.
Wears you out. An extra day.
That's a lot.
Extra day of travel. You're leaving on Wednesday when you shoot on Saturday.
Yeah.
Then getting home sometime on Monday. So it wears you out.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That would affect your shooting, I would think.
Yeah, that's why
Can you imagine an NBA basketball player just driving to his next game?
Well, I tell you, that's part of the getting older thing. Me in my 20s and 30s, up to really about 40, didn't bother me too bad to travel like that. But man, getting into mid 40s, that travel wears you
That's
out.
different, isn't it?
It takes a little bit longer to recover.
Right.
Well, while we're talking about your professional archery career, what's the biggest one-day check, or at the end of a tournament, what's the biggest amount of money you've been paid?
Just off one tournament, $22,000.
22,000.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
so anybody thinks that's
if
just
you
a
win.
weekend fun hobby, I mean, that's crazy.
No.
you're making a good living.
That check, luckily, I won that tournament a month before my daughter Ainsley was born. So, it couldn't have been better.
Oh, it's a bonus.
to win a tournament.
Perfect. Yeah.
And hit that
You're on
kind
a
of money,
high of
'cause,
highs. It's like one month
that's
down
what you
money.
have to pay for diapers and formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't no joke. Well, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened on a course or at a competition? Has anybody ever been going to pull their arrows out of a target and somebody went ahead and shot down range?
I mean, there's been all kinds of stuff like that happen. I didn't get to witness it, but one of the wildest stories that I've heard is at the tournament in Reading. It's a big,
it's huge.
Marked yardage tournament. And shoot out to 101 yards, but somebody got hit in the leg out there. Somebody misfired. Somebody was sky drawing their bow.
Yeah.
Arrow went over the
Let it
hill,
go.
skipped, and hit them in the leg. So
Oh, wow.
that's a crazy story I've heard. Whether it's factual or not, because I'm telling you, in archery, a lot of stories get blown out of proportion by the time that you hear them.
Yeah.
One of the wildest things that I can remember is a guy shooting semi-pro years ago at an ASA event. He got caught cheating. He was using. We judge yardage, so it's all unknown yardage. We look at the targets, we've got to figure it out.
Right.
Well, he had a pair of binoculars, I think they were Alpen brand. Anyhow, had a rangefinder built into them.
yeah.
He had camo taped them up, had the button hidden, and he got caught using those out there. And he was winning some events and shooting scores better than we were shooting in the pro class.
Yeah.
So it was kind of suspicious.
Right.
And then that tournament, it was in Paris, Texas. He got caught and escorted off the range, and all the organizations banned him. He wasn't
Got
allowed to
greedy
come
with it.
back. So that's one of the wildest things that I think I can remember happening at an ASA event.
That's crazy. Well, I guess let's get, instead of archery, you're also a deer hunter.
Oh, yeah.
You're also an outdoorsman. You like fishing way more than you probably should. hunting wise, I know that you killed that big buck that they wrote several articles about, and that was just locally. You killed it.
I killed it on Chaffee Crossing.
Yeah. What was that buck?
He scored 168.
Yeah, and he was
and some
20 something inches wide.
24 inches wide.
Was that the urban hunt?
That was an
a few
urban
years
hunt.
back?
Yeah, it was the first year they did the urban hunt.
Yeah.
So they had a Chaffee Crossing hunt out there for a couple of years prior to that, and then they shut that down for I think it was 2 years.
Yeah.
So that allowed those bucks to get age on them. You know, anything that was 3.5, 4.5 years old, when they shut that down, I mean, they got age on them by the time the urban hunt hit.
Jeez.
You know.
Yeah.
And for people that are listening that don't know, 160-inch deer, 120-inch deer around here is a absolute stud.
You know,
That's a big Arkansas
That's
buck.
a big buck.
Funny story about that buck is, I was working at Jayco at the time, and we had a customer come in, and he was hunting on Chaffee. Chaffee borders that part, like right there, pretty close to where I killed that buck. And he come in telling us that, he had a buck come by chasing a doe, looked like he was 2 foot wide. And I argued with him. I said, man, there's not a 2 foot wide buck running
Oh,
around
and
out
nothing
there.
fires you up more is
Yeah.
when somebody sees a 90-inch deer and they're like, oh, he was
And-
200 inches.
You know, and this guy, he knows what a big deer looks like.
Yeah.
He's killed quite a few, but, I argued with him. So there's no way. And, the next weekend I shoot that deer. And it was legitimate, 24 inches wide.
24.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I would say an average deer around here, a buck, that everyday buck that you would see, or a good buck, somebody would say like, oh, that's a good buck. 90 to 100
Or
inches.
like an 8-point up there on the wall,
Yeah, 90 to 100 inches, and he might be 15 inches wide.
15 wide, 8-point. That's your
Because
typical.
his ears are about that big, and they're like, oh, he's wider than his ears. Yeah, well, his
Yeah.
ears are about 3 inches long. So
The Chaffee 140, we used to joke about that because everybody come in,
shot a 140.
Oh, we saw a 140. Nobody was ever killing them. They'd see a 140.
Right.
And really they're seeing a 115-inch deer on the 100-pound body. So it looked a lot bigger. But I will say now Chaffee's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
If they see a 140, they probably did see a 140.
Yeah.
It's laid down some pretty good bucks the last couple of years.
Oh,
They have,
Seems like
absolutely.
every year you get on Facebook and somebody's killed a.
That Sportsman's page, I'm always impressed
I
with what
know,
they're
I'm
taking
like,
off
God,
Chaffee.
They killed a
But then-
180-something inch buck out there this year.
Wow.
So that's unheard of for
Yeah,
around
it
here.
is.
And then you've been to Illinois and hunted and killed a big buck up there. But me and Tucker, my buddy, we hunt Nebraska every year. And until you've seen a 250, 300-pound deer running around, you don't know what our deer are. Just the smallest deer in the
It looks
world.
like a cow coming through the woods.
I remember our first time hunting Nebraska. Every single doe that came through, I would get a little bit of buck fever because I'm like,
yeah, you get
that's a big
excited.
buck. That's
Right.
a big buck. And
Right.
then it'd come out and it's like a 2-year-old
Comes
doe.
out of the thicket, no
Yeah.
horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have it's not embarrassing because I'm proud of every deer I've ever killed. But we had a big buck the morning before last year.
You're really proud of every deer.
Yeah, most of
Most of them.
last year, Tucker just killed a 150-something inch 8-pointer up there the day before, and he had told me. So I'm sitting like up against the river, and he's sitting the farthest you could be away from the river, but you can see it. He says there's an absolute giant running towards you, and I'm like, okay, get ready. Nothing happens, right? So then he ends up killing that big buck.
Yeah.
At like 8 a.m. So then the next day I go up there and all I seen is this buck came all the way around and his horns touched in the center. They dang near touched. And I thought, oh, this is that giant Tucker was talking about the morning before. It comes running through a thicket and stops and I'm, man, boom. And I text Tucker. I called my dad. I was like, I just killed a giant. And I text Tucker. I'm like, dude, get your butt over here. Because he slept in the next morning because he's tagged out. But, and I'm like, I'm so pumped. And then Tucker calls me about 3 more times in the next 5 minutes. Like, you sure you got him? Did he drop? Where'd he go? He's excited as I am. But I had already crawled down because I did drop him. I crawled down and checked him. And he might have been 110 inches maybe.
Right.
Do you remember our conversation when you were heading up there?
Yeah.
So don't go up there and shoot a little
100
basket rag buck.
yeah,
Shoot
right,
another 100-inch
right.
deer.
And I'm proud of him. But I look at him, and then Tucker's calling me, and I'm ignoring it. And then Tucker's like, what's going on, buddy? How big was it? I'm headed that way. And I said, just take your time, man. Don't rush down here.
It's not what I thought it was. Yeah.
And I wish I would have. It's the only buck that I haven't ever taken a picture with. I'll always at least get some kind of picture. I figure one of these days my grandkids will have an album of like, Grandpa used to kill these deer.
You always take a
But
picture regardless.
I didn't because I was so upset how small that deer was to what I thought it was that I didn't take a picture. Now I'm like, dang it, I should have took that picture.
If you're a deer hunter, you've done that. Whether you don't want to admit it or not.
Absolutely.
you've
Oh,
done
yeah.
it.
Yes, I've done
Yeah,
it.
I've actually only had one other time other than this at my grandparents' place we call it the chili field. And I had a big wide buck. And when I say big wide buck, it's an Arkansas big wide buck, 16 to maybe 18 inches wide, but looked like an absolute giant. Yeah. And trail cameras also get you. I'm telling you, if you put your trail camera, put it at waist high and have it facing up, every deer you ever get on camera is going to be an absolute giant.
Yeah.
And it came in from behind me, and I whirled around and shot that deer, and it ended up being about a 80-inch buck. And then that buck I called homeboy, our neighbor, Colton, he ended up killing him, and he was like 125 inches or 100 something. So it's a lot bigger than the buck I killed, but that I thought was definitely him. Right. But yeah, that was my my newest story of messing up in the deer woods, but that's all right. Well, Brandon, let's talk about you, man. Brandon is our executive broker, and he is the broker over the Heritage Group Land and Home team. We've made a kind of division. We're still all the Heritage Group, but we made a division, the Land and Home team, for kind of guys like us. And there's 6 of us, 8 of us in that.
Yeah, and it's not anything exclusive, of course. Any of our agents that want to.
Anybody can be in it. But
it's a really good way to market rural properties different than
everybody else has.
And whether it's residential or land, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and me and Chris get this all the time. It's like, oh, you're just land guys.
Right,
we're like, no, we're real estate agents.
No, we do it all.
And we sell more houses than we ever do just pieces of property.
We really got that, where we came from.
Yeah,
now
all the time.
And I was telling somebody this the other day, I feel like it's opened up more opportunity for me and you on the home side of things.
Absolutely.
But then, Brandon was talking the other day about people are asking him, hey man, you just doing land now?
Right.
Yeah.
So no, still do it all. Still do it all. This is a different way to market though. And we think a lot of the properties deserve a different marketing, than just a typical residence or maybe a residence with a half acre or whatever.
Yeah.
You've got to get that in front of the right audience. You've got to get that in front of the right agent that knows how to market.
Yeah.
And see the value in the, the pole barns, the feed, the food plots, all the different things that you may have added to your property that to a lot of agents that doesn't have a value. And we see that and we're able to market it.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with being an agent that doesn't like doing land. There's a lot of them that don't. Right. But we just have a group of guys that we like doing land.
We enjoy it.
Me, I prefer to walk a food plot than talk about granite tabletops. I mean, it's who we are.
Yeah, so we'd much rather be on a 40 looking at a food plot.
Yeah. Talking about what deer you kill.
Yeah, where to put tree stands.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and there's a niche for everybody, but we can do it all. And but you are our broker for the Land and Home team. You all, how many people do you have under you? Do you know exactly?
It's around 25. I don't know exactly. About 25.
Yeah. So you're a busy man.
Yep. Yeah.
How long have you been in real estate? Because you've been in a while.
Be 13 years this month, actually.
That's awesome. 13 years. And then how many of those was with Heritage Group? You think
8.
Since the beginning.
8, yeah. Been there since the beginning. So
8 years.
7.
Awesome.
No, I'm sorry. It was 7.
7.
Yeah, I think it's
Cool.
7. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, I've got some more real estate questions for you. You're also a deer hunter, though, and you killed a big old buck 2 years ago.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, that thing was a stud.
Yeah.
If I can get Joe to put that on the feed, I'll have him do it because it was a good buck.
Yeah.
Tell us about that while we're on deer. And then
That was a, didn't know he was in there kind of thing. Man, it rained all night the night before, and luckily I had a ground blind set up.
Yeah.
So I thought, man, I'm going to go sit in that blind anyway. You never know. So I'll go out there about 5:30 in the morning, get in the blind, sit there all day, nothing going on except just rain. I mean, I wasn't even seeing squirrels,
Yeah.
But I saw some pretty good
time to
signs.
go home.
Dude,
with that.
Right. 2 hours feels like 12 hours.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I had plenty of snacks, and I was getting
my
fat
phone
in the
dies,
blind
I'm
there.
leaving.
Right. But it wasn't too cold, and I'd seen a lot of good sign. I didn't know what deer was in there, but I'd seen a lot of good sign and stuff. So, hey, I'm going to be patient and see what happens here. And you know how it is. You kind of get lost in the silence, and I was probably halfway asleep, and something caught my eye, and I looked. And there were 3 deer, 2 bucks and a doe, just over this little ridge. And honestly, the big buck jumped up to mount that doe. I mean, this was right in the prime of rut.
Yeah, what was it? You killed it November 14th or something, wasn't it?
Something like that.
It was like first day of rifle season or something. Yeah.
And they were rutting pretty hard,
Yeah.
And he jumped up to mount that doe. Of course, she ran out from under him. And that movement is what caught my eye. I probably wouldn't have seen him. I was pretty much done for the day. You know? Yeah. And there was a little 8-point following him around. Of course, he wanted to that doe.
Yeah.
The big buck kept running him off, and finally he came up on a little knoll where I had a good shot at his kill zone. And I said, all right, it's now or never, you know.
Yeah.
And it all worked out. But yeah, he was not to the standard of Chris's big buck, but he's the biggest one I ever killed.
Yeah. Did you ever have it scored? I bet it's 100.
Unofficially, it was 144.
Yeah.
He had 13 scoreable points.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I thought. So I remember seeing it in like the Facebook scroll, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, hang on, there's a good buck. You see, like,
Yeah.
oh, good job. Whoa, hang on, that's actually a big buck.
yeah.
Did you have cameras in that spot? Or?
Now, I just moved to that spot.
Yeah.
And I did have a camera up, but I didn't have him on it really. So
Isn't that
I wasn't sure, you know.
I'm never that lucky.
We had seen that deer. We'd seen that deer in other places, but not necessarily right there. So.
I'm the guy that's got the deer. 3 years ago, I had this buck we called Moose. He scored 156 and some change, which is an absolute giant
Yeah.
for Mountainburg. I had him for 3 years. And some guy that hunted his very first day ever, 2 miles from where I had pictures of him, ends up killing him on open day at rifle. And I'm like, I'm the opposite. I'm the guy that has
That's
the deer,
the- I'm
and then
telling
they
you.
get killed by somebody else.
Yep. That's the way it works.
Oh my gosh. Well, cool. Well, what's on real estate? What's the worst inspection
Oh, gosh.
have you ever seen?
Did an inspection on one that had actually had a fire previously that was not disclosed to us.
Yeah.
And the inspector called me, you know, and he says, hey, I'm up in this attic. Did you guys know this house had been on fire? And I said,
I wonder
no.
if that's the same. I had the same thing happen.
Did you really?
That was the first house I ever put under contract.
Yeah.
After I got my real estate license, inspector got in the attic and was like, man, this thing's been on fire before.
Right.
It's crazy that's like this, that you're saying
That's
that's happened to
awful.
you.
So whether whether the owner knew that or not, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
it showed on their inspection. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, that they had actually come in and repaired everything and it looked really nice.
Yeah.
The boards that were charred that showed signs, all of that had been basically framed over.
Yeah.
And so it was still structurally sound. Everything was good. But that's information you want to know.
Yeah.
You know.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I had one the other day and it ended up being nothing. And, but the inspector called me like super concerned and it made me more concerned, but luckily it ended up working out. But he was like, man, I think this is really bad in this crawl space. And I'm like, oh, like if it's bad enough, you're calling me
Right.
mid inspection, is it that bad?
Right.
Then it ended up being not that bad. So maybe it was just the inspector being a little dramatic. It was like, it stressed me out though. Cause I was like,
Disclose it all. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
You
like,
wanna
is this
know.
thing falling apart? I
wanna
was like,
know.
I walked. So I actually went, I was so nervous, so worried because this is one of my best friends in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his wife are buying a house, and that's one of the most rewarding things about our job. I
Right.
I give one of my buddies his first house. It's going to be so cool.
Yep.
I'll be out more. Because I'm going to buy them paint. I'm going to buy them some stuff. So I'm going to be out more money on this deal than normal deals. But
Right.
I'm just happy for them to get a house.
Yeah.
But we walked around, and then, of course, I'm checking it. I'm walking around looking for soft spots on the floor. Found nothing. And then this inspector's like, oh, yeah, there's rotten boards under here, blah, 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 blah. And then turned out when he sent the inspection report, there's just a couple little pieces that weren't like, it wasn't nothing extreme. We can fix pretty easily. So we went back the next day after he said that. I crawled under the house myself and checked. And I'm like, buddy, I don't see anything. I mean, I know he's the inspector. This is his job, but let's walk it. So we walked the whole house again and still never found a soft spot. So luckily the report came back kind of what I thought. And I was like,
Yeah.
buddy, I don't know. But
he's
he's trying to justify his job.
It's their job.
Yeah,
to
it's their
point
job.
out anything that they
is.
find, and
Yeah.
and you want to know that.
And
stuff.
even at
Oh,
that,
no.
maybe there's not a soft spot right then when you're walking through it, but you know that he saw something in there.
That
and
wasn't
so
right.
you can disclose that to your buyer and they can make a mental note.
Yep. Well, that's
down
what
the
me and
road,
J-
this may be something we have to address. Right now, it's okay.
Yep.
But
that's what me and my buddy ended up doing. He's like, hey, I was like, this is here. So, when y'all get some extra money or you want to before you even move in, I'd get these 4 or 5 floor joists changed
Right.
out and you'll
we did an
ease your
inspection
mind.
on one over in Fort Smith. This house was built, in the early 1940s, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And, hot water tanks now have a life expectancy of 10 to 12 years,
Yeah.
right? Dude, this thing looked like a 55 Chevy, this hot water tank. And it really was. It was a 50-something model,
Yeah.
but it was a gas hot water, and it's still working.
Yeah.
And so the inspector's like, well,
mean,
it's
it
about
works.
50 years past its life expectancy, but
Yeah.
it's still working. And so, those are the things you want to be able to tell your buyer, like, hey, plan on replacing that in the next couple of years.
But
It's
don't
working
until
right
it don't.
now.
Yeah, don't until.
Yeah, we're going to have a hard time getting the
Yeah.
seller to replace it on their dime because it works.
Yep.
But make a mental note here. You might want to put a little savings aside and be ready for this.
And tell them things ain't made like they used to. So just keep the 50s
Exactly.
model until you can't no
Yes,
more.
right,
I
right.
think that speaks too on the importance of getting a home warranty.
Yes,
You know, when you're buying a home,
Yeah.
just make sure you get a home warranty.
that's a good idea.
Can help you out down the road.
And always, 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 and I'm saying this, and I'm kind of being a hypocrite because on my first house, I didn't get a home inspection. But always get a home inspection.
Yeah, always
Absolutely.
get a
I
home
did the
inspection.
most, which me and my wife got married super early. We had no money. And then we're like, well, we want to buy our own house. And
Yeah.
I was super independent. So I was 19. I'm fixing to turn 20 when I bought my first house.
Yeah.
And we're like, me and my grandpa can just do this. My grandpa knows everything. And we just crawled around, and luckily nothing big was bad with our house. But we crawled around, looked around ourselves, and I'm like, now that I've been a realtor, I'm like, that was the worst idea in the world. I was like the typical guy. It's like, oh, me and my dad could fix this. you
Right,
know?
right.
And now even my buddy, thankfully, he did get a home inspection because the first talk, he's kind of in the same boat that I was back then. He's like, man, how much is a home inspection? I'm like, dude, it's $350, $450, and it's the best $400. If he
That's
finds
right,
one
yeah.
problem, he saved you your $350.
Absolutely.
like if he finds one thing wrong, you've just saved money.
And it's not always a deal killer. Like I said earlier, it's just be aware.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, on this deal, we never asked for any repairs. He was like,
Yeah.
hey, I can handle it, and,
Right.
and we can fix everything that you've seen. But he was scaring me at first because when he said he wasn't going to, I'm like, I hope here in like a year he didn't like call me and was like, dude, why didn't we get a home inspection? The whole entire house is falling in. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
like, please just go get one.
Right.
Get the home inspection.
So we both are ease of mind, and we know everything that could
it's
be.
worth the money up front. It can save you a bundle of cash down the road, you
Oh,
know.
gosh.
Oh, it
yes.
can.
Yeah. Yeah, and you'd feel silly if the floor did fall in, and you're like, yeah, for $350, I could have known this before I bought it.
Right. And if you get with a good inspector, they're going to crawl under there and take pictures. Same thing in the attic.
Yep.
The buyers don't want to get under the house or in the attic, but you hire an inspector to do it. They're going to take good pictures. They're going to upload it to a report and send to you, go over it with you and say, I saw this and I'm not really concerned about it, but I want you to know it's there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
I see a lot of the common things too on each inspection report. I feel like the water heaters not having a drip pan underneath it,
Right.
Or now a new thing that I'm seeing is expansion tank. I guess now they're required to have expansion tanks.
Yeah, the
And
code's
there's a
changed through the
bunch of
years.
homes that don't have an expansion
Yeah.
tank. So that's something you're going to see. Selling houses.
When we
Yeah,
built our
it's
house,
gonna need that,
when we
you
built
know.
our house, my grandpa was fixing to not put, because we did it all ourselves.
Yeah.
Was fixing to not put a pan under the hot water heater,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had so many reports say there's no pan. I was like, wait a minute, I think there's like $20 at or
We gotta do
Lowe's.
this.
I'm gonna go get
put
one
it under.
because one of these
Right.
days when I go to sell, someone's gonna say that.
It's a lot easier to do right then than it is
Yeah.
down the road.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's not that big a deal. That's funny. Yeah, there is so many different things though. Really though, I mean, us being real estate agents, there's a lot of stuff that we know that just the general public doesn't know, and so it's just good. I'm kind of glad we have the podcast because this is things that we can discuss and tell people like, hey, when you're doing this, not only call somebody, and because someone's going to know. That's what my buddy that we're buying this house for. We close next Friday on it actually. So I've been on a little bit of a roll here. I closed one Tuesday. I closed one the week prior to that. I closed one Friday. Closed one at the end of the month. So it's been good for us. But
Yeah, we've been busy.
yeah, we looked at one yesterday in Alma, 4-bed, 2-bath.
Nice.
I haven't got a listing agreement on it, so I'm not going to tell you everybody what it is. But we when we do get it, it'll be a good one. If you're looking for something in the 240
Yep.
range and it's a 4-bed, then we've got it. So that's a lot of
Be
things.
watching,
Dude,
yeah.
that's something I just thought about this saying that. Getting a good real estate agent that is a full-time real estate agent. I'm not saying there's not good part-time agents out there. There's plenty of them. But get a guy that's in it every single day. Because how many listings, Chris and Brandon, I'm sure you've got them too, but me and Chris co-list a lot of stuff together. So I know what Chris has got going. We've got probably 5 or 6 deals that like people's told us that we could sell it, but like they don't want to put a sign out front. They don't want to make it official. They don't want to sign. They'll sign a listing agreement the day you bring them a buyer.
Right.
But those guys, getting a good real estate agent that really knows what he's doing is in the industry. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, we've probably got legitimately 5 listings that we could sell tomorrow if the right buyer came, but we just don't have them on the market. And so I think getting a good real estate agent would be good for you as far as them helping you with stuff that you didn't know about? Because I mean, a lot of people can go on Zillow and type in 10 acres and you can figure it out. But when you get a good agent, he'll go work for you and
he may be able to dig some stuff up. Off market properties.
Yeah.
They may have connections, somebody that from 3 years ago, maybe a buyer for a property and the seller says, hey, I'm ready to sell.
Hey,
you can go back through your contacts.
I told you this just yesterday.
Yeah.
The wildest story, a crazy story that I heard yesterday. Karen Beckner in our office. I went with her on a listing appointment just to kind of be the land guy, and we walked the land with the guy. And I forgot what it was, 20-something acres.
I think it's 34.
34 acres in a house in Van Buren. And this guy was like typical, I don't want to sell, but I do want to sell.
Right.
But just don't put a sign up. So he told her no.
Didn't want it on the market.
No. Yeah, didn't want it on the market. No sign on the yard. I'll sign a listing agreement, but just tell people that you know. And Karen's like, okay, well, you're making this kind of hard on me, but I'll run with it. She called a guy from 2 years ago and said that kind of was interested in something like that and was like, hey, are you interested in this? And he's like, matter of fact, yeah, we are.
Right.
They drove up there, put that thing under contract in a day. And I was highly impressed by that.
And there's certain rules we have to follow because we're members of the MLS. And so
Yeah.
anything we have listed, we have to put in the MLS, if we have written agreements on it and stuff.
Yeah.
But there are buyers out there that say, I don't want to do showings. I don't want people coming through but I will let you know if you can get X out of this property, I'd be interested in selling it.
He's got one
And
right by his
so,
house,
yeah.
300 acres
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
What was it?
He called me and
He said, I don't want you to sign anything with you. I don't want anything. But if somebody ever says they want
Yeah.
300 acres in Van Buren,
he said,
call me.
if you have a buyer, call me. He said,
I'll pay you.
we'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll work out a deal.
And it's a heck of a property. I wish he'd let me list it.
I know.
Get it going, get it marketed.
Right.
But
Yeah, it is crazy how many people do that, though.
It is. Yeah.
I have a family member just the other day that said the same thing. Like, if you ever get anybody that wants a 3-bed, 2-bath with 5 acres, holler at me. I'm like, everybody wants that. Let me list it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to sell it.
And a lot of times they're scared of the market. They don't know what they're going to do to replace it.
Yep.
They're afraid that it will sell really fast,
Yep.
And so maybe they want a little bit more heads up before they have to move or whatever the situation is. But
For sure.
yeah, we try to work with everybody.
Well, cool, man. Well, really, that's all the questions I've got for you. I've got one. What's some advice, if you could think of, some advice you'd give a new real estate agent that's coming to work for you, other than join the Heritage Group and work for the Heritage Group?
I mean, that's it. Yeah,
That's the only real advice we have for you. If you don't know,
there are a lot of good brokers out there, and I
Yeah.
think that's the most important thing. And it was the same way when I started. There's a training period.
Yep.
You're going to learn things as you go.
Yes.
We do a lot of educational classes. You have to do pre-license, you have to do post-license, and all that stuff helps you.
Yeah.
But the truth is, a lot of it you just learn as you go.
Yeah.
And if you don't have someone that you can make a phone call to or a text to that's always there, that has the experience, can say, hey, I've worked through this once before. This is what we're going to do.
Now.
So I think that's probably one of the most important thing.
Now.
Make sure you've got a good broker.
Yeah, absolutely. Find a broker. And I would say find someone that fits you. I mean,
Right.
Something that I made a mistake on as soon as I got my license.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on this too.
The very first guy the very first firm that said, yeah, come on. I never even interviewed anybody else.
Right.
And I think actually me and you, kind of a cool story about me and Brandon. Brandon's known me my whole life, known my parents and stuff. But I was thinking about making a switch, and I came up to you at the middle of the Crawford County Fair, and I was
Right.
like, hey, man, are y'all hiring? And you're like, absolutely, we're always hiring. And so I was like, okay, well, we need to talk at some point.
Yeah.
And so I think that's super neat. And then go find a broker that really fits your needs and is going to help you grow. Like you said, we've got Tuesday trainings every Tuesday.
I can't put enough emphasis on that. I did the same thing you did.
Yep.
Like getting into real estate. First, broker I interviewed with, that's who I decided to go with. And
Yep.
I feel like that was a mistake. I mean, I had success there, so maybe it wasn't, but I should have interviewed other brokerages. And that's the thing. Go interview other brokers, see if they're a good fit, like you said,
Yeah.
and then make that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. And it does. It has to be a good fit. Not everyone's personality is the same. Not everyone's goals are the same. Not everyone's way of doing business is the same. Find your fit and make sure that you've got a good broker. I think that's really important, though.
Yeah. I think so. And really just, if you don't want to interview everybody, just come to the Heritage Group. We'll hook you up and you can come work for us.
Right.
You ain't going to work for
Yeah.
anybody else.
Yeah.
But no, well, I got a couple questions for both of you. These are just kind of fun questions, just to kind of get to know y'all. What, Chris, is your favorite restaurant around here?
Favorite restaurant? I'd say the Rib Room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of our go-to on date night. We've been going there for years.
Yeah.
I just
That's
enjoy,
just here-
enjoy
that's
the
here in
atmosphere.
Fort Smith, right?
Yeah, it's here in Fort Smith downtown.
Yeah.
You know, if you catch it on a Friday or Saturday night, they may have music going. It's just a
That's a cool spot.
cool spot. Yeah, good atmosphere to hang out.
What about you, Brian? You got one?
I think Outback, man.
Yeah.
I love Outback.
Bloomin' onions.
That's pretty generic, but I love their steak.
Hey, I'm
so,
with
yeah.
you. I'm with you.
Yeah,
They have a good steak.
they do.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I'm going to be partial because if you don't know me, you know that I absolutely love Mountainburg.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh,
Land of milk and honey. Here we
Mountainburg's the
go.
land of milk and honey.
Yeah.
And everything greats came from Mountainburg.
And some things that aren't great. Go ahead.
Yeah. And,
It's a mountain burger.
A mountain
Gotta be a
burger
mountain
from the
burger.
Dairy Dip. Shout out to the Dairy Dip. You're welcome. No, if you can't go wrong if you go to Mountainburg. So I'm gonna give a shout out to everybody in Mountainburg. You can go to either the Dairy Dip, you can go to the Pizza Den, you can go to the Neon Moon, or the Bees in the Bird.
Yeah.
It is.
So-
It's a cool place,
It
and they
is.
do have some good food.
Hey,
there
and
for
like
sure.
the Bees in the Bird yesterday, I was doing this podcast, and just like all my schoolwork, I waited till the last day, and then I'm like, oh, I got to
course.
do this tomorrow, so I got to go find. I got to like ask questions and stuff. And so I went to the Bees in the Bird, got me some sweet tea, and sit there and thought all my thoughts that I could on the table because I was at home, and my wife stays home, my kiddos are home, so. And I'm thankful for that most days. But when you're trying to get something done, and you got a
Impossible.
4-year-old and a 1-year-old, I'm like, I'm about to go crazy. I have to go somewhere that's quiet.
Kind of hard to concentrate, right?
So a
Yeah.
fun fact
Yeah.
about you is you can drink sweet tea faster than anybody on this earth.
In the history
I've
of
never
history-
seen anybody drink sweet tea.
I
any
actually
faster.
sometimes feel bad for my waiters because I'm like, this lady's gonna walk back to
Just
the
bring me
kitchen.
two.
Yeah. This lady's gonna walk back to the kitchen not thinking that I'm gonna finish the tea before she comes back and asks us a question. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've already went through this.
I'm within 30 seconds of it hitting
Yeah.
the table. The first glass is
I'm
gone.
probably
Yeah,
made
needs
up of
another one.
most. I'm about 50% blood, 50% sweet tea.
Yeah.
But no, cool. I thought Chris would say that Mount Ida cheeseburger you had.
Man.
This the other day, me and him was at a listing agreement over
Yeah,
towards
it's
that
not
way.
necessarily in our local area.
I
but
know.
That was the best cheeseburger I've had in a
Yeah.
long time at a restaurant.
And I know he's not lying about that because
I mentioned it more than once.
yeah, he's mentioned it more than once. But we was
Keeps
over,
going back to
yeah.
it.
we was over a what listing?
That was Bonnerdale.
Okay, we come back
Yeah.
from Bonnerdale and was like, we always try to hit some local cafe of some sort just to try it. You know, you never
Yeah,
get a
yeah.
Mount Ida cafe burger again.
No.
Right.
And so we pulled in there and we both ordered cheeseburgers. And then the first thing he did is took a bite and he's like, this is the greatest cheeseburger I've ever had in my life. So I knew
Yeah.
he ain't
It-
lying. He ain't just saying that to
Yeah.
say it.
It wasn't a frozen patty. You know,
No, it was
hand
it was
patty
cooked
burger.
when we ordered
Yeah,
it.
it was
Yep.
fresh. And it's just a cool restaurant. They had a lot of
Oh, dude, they
cool.
had 2 or 3 big old bucks.
Yeah, just the artwork they had hanging up. Just the, it's very nostalgic.
Yeah. So if you're ever in Mount Ida, go get you a cheeseburger.
Yeah,
and,
check that place out.
They're going to start calling it the Chris Hacker Special if you keep talking about it.
He'll have his own burger there.
There
yeah.
we go. I like
For
it.
sure.
My life goal is to own the Dairy Dip.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Mountain Burgers came from me, I'd be a real estate agent all day, and then at like 4 o'clock, I'd just go make cheeseburgers.
Would you rename the Mountain Burger, or would you?
Oh
leave it
gosh,
Mountain
no,
Burger?
no, that'd be
You got to leave
that'd
that.
be a sin.
You
I
gotta
think.
leave that, yeah.
Just so everybody knows, this is the King Dragon. That is his nickname, King Dragon.
It's got to be the only one in the world. You got to leave the mountain burger.
It has to be. Yeah, you have to leave it like this. Okay, what's another fun question? What's something? And y'all, if you don't know an answer, I know what I would say. What's something that someone that's moving around here needs to experience at least once? If you were moving from Texas, say you're a buyer, you're showing from Texas or California or wherever most of our buyers come from, you move to Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas.
I mean, there's so many cool things around here. I mean, Northwest Arkansas, I'd say the Amp. Go over there, watch a concert. Even down here, you can do the riverfront, amphitheater.
Oh,
down here, they
absolutely.
hold concerts at amphitheater down here is actually where I proposed to my wife.
That's
It's a
cool.
cool place down here
That is
by the
cool.
river.
Yeah.
So I'd say you check that out. But there's so much stuff. You know,
Yeah.
Lake Fort Smith,
Yeah.
Natural Dam. You go up there, you'll see the Natural Dam.
Yeah.
Pig Trail out of Ozark. Run up there a little ways, take a right going out towards the Birds and Oart Cafe.
Absolutely.
Where the creek, Mulberry River
Oart
runs.
Cafe, there's a shout. Oh my gosh, that is.
If you're into side-by-sides, the Buckhorn Trail System and the Magazine Trail System. I mean,
And something that people, and I'll get you an actual number on this, but some people don't know is how much national forest we actually have. I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of acres. I sold a piece. It was actually my dad's cabin up in Winfrey Valley. And it was 1 acre completely surrounded by national forest. Had an easement through it to get back to it. It was so cool. But those people moved from Nebraska. And when they got here, they were like, well, how many acres is here? And I click on my Onyx map. We use Onyx and Land ID. That's probably our top maps we've ever used. But I click on Onyx, and if y'all want to sponsor the show, go ahead. I click on Onyx, and there was like 190,000 acres surrounded Dad's cabin there. I'm like, so technically you bought an acre, but if you want to drive off the side of the hill right here, you can do that. Yeah. You can deer hunt that. Now, I will say, in full disclosure, when Dad very first bought that, me and my buddy Sean was going to go deer hunt it. And I mean, it was like the week he got it. It was like middle of November. We could rifle hunt. And if you've never been to Winfrey Valley or Winslow in general, it might say 5 acres. And this is something to look out for, and you need to know. It might say 5 acres or 10-acre listing. Look at what the 10 acres looks like, because
it could be the side of a mountain.
You're owning air.
Yeah.
Because this place, it's super neat and it's cool because it's just 1 acre. But we just camped there, and then it was like, it wasn't even fixed or anything. So we stayed at it just like how it was. And we called it our deer camp. There's just 2 of us there. But we went off the side of the hill. It's dark when we get there. I don't know, 5:30 in the morning or so, 5. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, man, that looks a long ways down. But sometimes when it's dark, stuff messes with your eyes.
Did you take off in the dark, or did you wait?
No, we took off in the dark. We sit up against 2 trees. We kick out all the stuff. We're lean back.
We're both about half
straight
down to the bottom of the valley.
Yep. So we're sitting there, and it's just breaking daylight, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it is like way down there. Yeah. And me and Sean are bigger guys. You know, we ain't running no marathon anytime soon. We both look at each other, and it's like, he was thinking it, but I didn't know if he was thinking it. And you don't want to be the guy with your buddy that's like, this sucks. I don't want to, I want to go home.
And you're thinking, if the biggest buck I've ever seen walks through there, I'm not shooting it because I'm not dragging it out.
I'm not going down.
Well, so we're leaning, we're about two, probably as far as we are from each other. We're a couple of trees, and I lean over right at daylight, and I said, it's going to have to be the biggest buck of my life.
Exactly.
And he's like, yeah. We both were thinking, I'm like, if this dude shoots, because I wanted you to know, because I'm like, this dude goes shoots a mainframe 5-point, I'm gonna be bad. I'm like, you figure it out. No, you're gonna figure it out by yourself, because we ain't getting it.
That's another story for another time. Me and my nephew killed 4 deer one morning.
Yeah,
and we didn't have a 4-wheeler. We had to drag them all out.
Oh my god,
that'd be a good story for.
That'll be a good story. Yeah, I've got one too. We'll do on one of these podcasts in Nebraska. The very first year we went. If I didn't have Onyx Tracker, I'd have said we went 40 miles in, but we was about 3 miles in. But I never walked 3 miles in my life, so 3 miles. It was the worst 3 miles of my life. Right. And anyway, I mess around and shoot a deer right off the bat, and we had like no game plan of like how we were gonna actually get a deer. Like, we didn't actually think we'd ever shoot one, and then we'd shoot one. But yeah, I'll say that story because it's crazy. We set up on a mountain lion camp and everything. It's a wild story. But well, cool. I got some rapid fire questions for you guys. I'm gonna list off here. Are y'all early birds or night owls?
Neither.
Neither.
Both.
I'd say a night owl, if anything. I'm definitely not an early bird unless I'm going fishing or deer hunting.
Yeah.
Then
I prefer to be a night owl.
Yeah.
I prefer.
Yeah. I don't know. Some days I stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning and think nothing of it, and then some days, like the last few days, I've been brush hogging a lot. Our place. Me and my wife got 40 acres there with our new house. And so, and I've kind of got deer on the brain right now. You know, always like 4th of July. I even told myself this year,
We were talking about this 2 weeks ago. Neither one of us
could care less.
We weren't excited about deer hunting at all.
I'm like, I could care less. And then something about 4th of July, it hits, and then you're like so pumped. You're like, I'm ready.
Not pumped, but it's starting to enter the brain.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been brush hogging,
and
I've been seeing a bunch of deer. Yeah. And my buddy's, man, he's seen a bachelor group of like 6 bucks and some good ones. I'll show you some pictures. But yeah, my buddy Robert sent that to me, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. And then I started brush hogging and seeing deer on my place. And I'm like, okay, now I've got the
every
itch.
Deer in velvet that's,
oh my gosh.
Bigger,
it looks like a.
Get your blood pumping.
Yeah.
All right, it's time.
Yeah. But yeah. So I've been getting up early so I could brush hog before it gets hot, which ends up being like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's
Right.
already hot. So I've been getting up early. But deer hunting, you can only hunt one. Deer hunting or turkey hunting.
Deer, without a doubt.
Deer, definitely.
I'm
Yeah.
deer too.
Yeah,
Those guys that got that turkey buck's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I love turkey hunting. Don't get me wrong. I do feel like around here that what burned me on it is it got so challenging.
Yep.
And there was too many hunters.
Yep.
I think the last time that I went, really hunted all season long, hunted 14 days in a row, never heard a turkey gobble, and saw dozens of people.
Yeah.
And that was during COVID. So, I don't know, that kind of burned me on.
I'm with you.
Now I'd rather just go launch the boat and
What's
bass fish
what's so
during
sad
season.
is my grandparents at one point out in Mulberry, they had a dairy farm, and every time my grandpa would feed in the morning, he said that he don't know how many turkeys there used to be, but there would just be turkeys lining the feed.
We've had a
their feed
population
troughs
decline.
just be roosted on the feed trough.
Wow.
I bet the other day, and I say the other day, 2 or 3 months ago, he sent me a picture of one hen crossing in front of his yard, and I think that's the first turkey we've seen in 5-6 years.
But I've heard reports that the turkey population's coming back in national forest and
Yeah,
Chaffee,
absolutely.
and people were seeing a lot more
It is in
birds.
certain places for sure.
My buddy
I've seen
Robert,
it.
they have a video of 2 hens and 13 poults, and they're big enough they picked up and flew. So I mean, I'm not gonna say they're all gonna make it, but they're gonna do good. A lot of those are gonna make it.
Right.
So that's a first.
Yeah.
But we've killed a lot of varmints off his place. We got those thermals, and we've been thermal hunting like
makes a
crazy here.
difference.
So I think we
There's
really
not
have,
as many people
we're a
trapping
year
anymore.
in. No.
Varmint hunting. So I mean, you got
Man.
raccoons, possums, anything that somebody could trap. They're ready to nest, and
Right.
that just hurts that population.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that could be a whole podcast in its own. We talk about turkeys and their population. All right. If your client's getting a hold of you, you a text or phone call guy.
I like a phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Gets
to
it
be
out of
able
the
to
way.
talk to them. Yeah, and explain.
Can't read
you can
emotion.
just explain so much easier that way.
So
Yeah, I'm a phone call guy too. Especially if there's issues, you need to handle it and
I've thought about this and
talk it
I'm definitely both. I love just jumping on the phone and talking because you can read emotion, first of all, and you can just explain like, hey, this is like, could you imagine if I text my buddy the other day, house is damaged, inspector called, rotted boards,
Right.
but I was able to just call him and say, hey buddy, this could be a big deal. Let's go look and let's get this report figured out. And we just both were calm. Now, the only thing I hate is when someone calls you 10 times and then all they're like, hey man, I was just going to tell you, have a good day. You're like, brother,
that's
I
just
was stressed out.
that's just when the title company calls you 10 times.
Yeah. And you're like,
and it's like,
they're like, hey, we're
There's
clear
nothing
to
going on.
close.
Nothing wrong, but they give you a report
Sometimes
on every
the
little
text will
detail.
work.
Yeah.
But
so there's text and calls are good.
Some
In our
clients-
business, you need to do both.
yeah, some clients just want to text. I mean, that's the world we live in. They just want to
Right.
text back and forth. You can call them, they'll ignore you, and then they'll text you afterwards. And that's just
Yeah, and we're definitely
you have to be
seeing that
used
more
to.
and more this generation coming up.
Yeah.
Because if they're under 30, more than likely they're just going to text you. I have a bunch of clients that we only text, and if I've got on a phone call with them more than once, I mean, it'd be tell them something big,
Right.
But then I kind of being in Mountainburg and being around Mountainburg, I do a lot of still like no e-signs. I mean, I
we
still
run into that a
drive
lot.
to houses.
Yep.
And
in the rural community,
yes.
you deal with that a
Yeah,
lot.
like,
No
I
e-sign,
ain't
they want
doing
you
an
to show
e-sign,
up.
which is
sign it in
fine. Hey,
person.
Yeah.
that's what you want. That's what you want, and we get it done. I mean, I don't know how many days I drove. I had 3 under contract, all 3 of them no e-signs. There was times where I was driving 5 or 6 times in a day. I was driving like all the way top of Winslow, coming back down into Mountainburg, driving to Mulberry.
And if we were partnered up on any of those and you were doing all that driving around, I heard about it.
Yeah,
You call me.
I'm sure.
I'm
Yeah.
doing all
Like,
this
son
work,
of
making you some money.
Yeah.
While you're out there fishing.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Definitely. Well, cool. Well, there is a wrong answer here, but I'll let you answer it how you want. Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
Yeah, mountains.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
If either one of y'all said beach, y'all would never allowed on the podcast.
You
I
know
love
us
the beach,
well
but if
enough,
I'm making a choice, it's mountains.
I'm not a beach person at all.
Yeah.
My wife, my family, they love it. It's not for me.
Same here. I love seafood, but
No, seafood's a different story. You didn't ask about seafood.
You can have seafood in the mountains.
and being from Arkansas,
Best of both worlds.
fresh is not a thing when it comes to seafood. They can say fresh all they want. That sucker's been on a
far
boat.
enough
It's
away,
been on
yeah.
a been on a
fresh.
boat, and then it's been on a tractor trailer.
It's not that fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ford, Chevy, or Dodge?
Chevy.
Chevy.
And we bought all 3. I drive.
I've never
GMC.
had a Dodge, but
I think we all-
I've had a Ford, but I'm a Chevy guy.
Yeah. Yep. GM all the way. worst purchase you've ever made?
Man, I'm going to think about that. I've made some bad ones.
It's always some kind of toy I don't need, you know? It's
Yep.
a four-wheeler, it's a motorcycle.
So the
side by
worst
side.
purchase I ever made. So it was a boat. It was right after Amy and I got married.
What does boat stand for?
Bust out another 1,000.
Yeah, break out another 1,000.
So I really wanted a boat, and I got my dad involved on this. Hey, Dad, you want to partner up and go buy a boat? 'Cause we really want to get into catfish in the river. So we went and looked, and first, it's kind of the same thing we talked about earlier with brokers. Interview. Don't buy the first boat you look at either.
Right.
That's what we did. We bought the first boat we looked at, went and test drove it, and it fired up and it ran fine. We didn't pay attention to really how, it leaned real bad. If you got to one side, the boat would just, tilt
like, oh,
over.
we can fix that.
But we thought, it'll be okay. We're just
yeah.
catfishing,
Yeah.
Literally the 10th trip out on the river, we're running down. It started getting really loud, made this kind of a crack noise, started losing power. It blew up. I mean, $2,000 just
Oh, wow.
gone. We sold the hull, I think, for $1,000, which my dad took the $1,000 because he wasn't going to give it to me since I got him
No,
in. He got his money back.
Yeah,
but
bro, I
lost
break it
out on
even.
that
Right.
one. So that's probably the worst purchase I made. Like you said, it was a toy. Of some kind.
It's always a hobby. It's a toy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, mine has to be, and I love a side by side as much as the next guy, but in the middle of COVID, me and Shelby
Worst time to buy.
Yeah, we decide we want this Honda Pioneer. It has to be a Honda Pioneer. And I say me and Shelby, it's me, and I'm making my wife want it.
Right.
And I'm like, we have to have it. I mean, think of all the things we could do with this thing. It really, you do none of those. You use it 10 times, and it sits in the shop. And that was peak of COVID. Was all my buddies were off work. So all of them was riding like every day of the week. I mean, they were riding every single weekend for sure. And where we live, like we were saying, National Forest, I mean, it's fun. I'm like, dude, I can haul deer out with this thing. I can go.
I mean, you can ride all day long or so many miles of trails that you can
one
ride.
time, I don't know exactly how we did it, but I rode with a bunch of buddies that ride all the time. And we were like a couple miles from Fayetteville, and we had left Mulberry.
Yeah.
I put like immediately too. I had 0 miles on this thing. I immediately put like several hundred miles on this thing, and I'm like, now it's worth even less. But I paid like $20,000 for this thing, and it's about a $10,000-$12,000 side by side. So
Do you still have it?
No, it's gone. I took my loss, and I just got it gone. I got it paid down to about what it's
All
worth.
that stuff was so high. Campers, RVs, all that stuff was so high.
And this was one of those,
COVID,
like,
so-
we look, and it was the only one left at, like,
Right.
I think it was down here at Wheeler.
Yeah.
It was like the only one left in the whole area. And they're like, well, we're going to get a shipment, but half the shipment's already sold. So if you want this one. So we ended up with like a Honda Pioneer 700 Deluxe with like extra speakers. I mean, they sold me on everything, but
Right.
At least you bought
I
one.
thought
That
it was
kind
gonna
of
be.
tricked out. I did buy one during COVID, and kind of like you couldn't find them.
Nope.
And I walked in Witt's Marine. They had one, Tracker 500 over there. I thought that's plenty big enough for what I'm wanting to do with
And
it.
you hated it.
It wasn't. It was a single bench seat. I still got it. It actually works out good for the farm we hunt on, but it was not what I actually intended on buying. And I remember bringing it home, and Amy's like, "That's not very big." That's cool. It's perfect for what we're going to do.
That's
and
fun.
once Ainsley got a couple years older, like we all three couldn't even fit it
Fit it.
anymore.
That's
So-
how this was. A single bench. As soon as
Yeah.
we had our second kid, it's
Yeah,
like, well,
nope,
this
game
thing's
over.
this thing's no good anymore.
Yeah, those four-seaters are really popular now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a reason.
Well, cool. Well, I got one more question, I guess, to end us out here, and then I think we'll just see y'all on the next one.
Yeah.
If you could win, you can't, not if you won. If you got $10 million tomorrow, what would you buy? What was the first thing?
First thing, a farm in Iowa.
Yeah.
Yep, I'd have a place to hunt, plenty of acres,
500 acres or
Yeah,
something.
I'd buy a big farm up there. It's
Same here.
deer hunting mecca of
I would buy
United States.
all of Mountainburg. I would buy the whole
That doesn't
entire,
surprise me.
I'd buy the whole entire town.
Yeah.
Would it still be named Mountainburg? That's the
Absolutely.
question. Okay,
Hyphen Elijah Wilson. Mountainburg Elijah Wilson.
Mountainburg -EW.
No, I'm the same. A few hundred acres
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then a beach house.
That's the
I'd
dream.
have to get a beach house for the wife and daughter.
Yeah.
you know.
The dream is to own. I think everybody's dream is to own. I bought 40 acres, and now I just wish I had 80 acres. I think
never
everybody
You
enough.
always want more.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're like, man, if I had 80 acres, I'd have 2 more food plots. But hey, my place is shaping up. I've killed I've hunted it 1 year before we bought it, but I've hunted it 3 years now. and I'm trying to think of the legal thing to say. No, I've killed $5 off of it. So
How many? 2 years?
in 3 years. But yeah, because there's only been the very first year I hunted it, it was just not enough good deer to kill more than one buck off of it, and I shot a little dink 8-pointer. But I've killed some good bucks off of it, and then I've got some studs coming back. Haven't had any trail cameras out yet. With us being a CWD area, it's kind of hard to put anything out.
You can't do anything.
Can't do anything, so you don't put really any cameras out because it's just going to look over.
Until September 1st.
Yeah.
You find a good trail they're using a lot, you can put one out.
Yeah, but I really ain't got it. Mine don't really hold. It holds deer because of the food plots put in. I got like 10 acres of food plots on my place, so I hope to kill a good one this year. But well, guys, thank y'all for joining me, and it's been fun.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Yep, see you on the next one. Welcome to the Round Here Podcast, presented by the Heritage Group Real Estate Company. Whether you're driving a back road, working cattle, baling hay on a hot summer day, or cooking breakfast in the duck blind, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us as a few good old boys from around here sit down with folks that live just right down the road to share their stories, their memories, and what makes this place home. This is the Round Here Podcast.